Everyone, and good night to you all. The day today is the 7th of January 2026. I want to speak to you about Somaliland today and explain to you basically what is Somaliland and what made it to be Somaliland. So basically, if we are speaking about Somaliland is over here. You have the Ishaq tribe, which is basically the ruling tribe in Somaliland. But what is so important about this tribe? It had been genocide, and it had a final solution against them, exactly like the Jewish people. So even though that they are Muslims, they said we want to get far away as we can from extremist Islam, and also from radical Islam that exists over here in Somalia, in Mogadishu. And their own Nazis were basically from Somalia. I'm not speaking about all the Somali people. I'm not inciting. But basically, there was a final solution. And just like the Jewish state had been founded on the basis of the Holocaust, their land also had been founded and raised because of this document that this was their final solution by the General Badir from Somalia that signed on it, and he said the final solution for the Ishaq tribe from Somaliland. So basically, the Ishaq tribe is also exist in northern of Ethiopia. In Ethiopia, you have the Oromo people that exist in Somalia, in Ethiopia, in Sudan, and also in other places in Djibouti, maybe also in Kenya. In Kenya. So basically, those people that were basically Muslim got connected with Ethiopians from the Oromo that were also basically genocide. So then was the alliance of the people that got genocide or that their existence was in risk. So that's why they wanted to get far away from the extremists of Sudanian extremism that was existed for centuries over here, also from extremists from Somalia. So the reason that Somaliland had been existed and they declared on independence is basically the same story of the Jewish people that wanted to have an asylum, to live freely and in security from extremism, from genocide, just like the Jewish people want safety from Islamist extremists and also Nazis. And the thing is that the language that they use over here is the same language that the Nazis spoke. They said the final solution to the Ishaq people, and they spoke about to the problem of the Ishaq people, like they spoke about the problem of the Jews. And I cannot say that they were Nazis, but I can say it's the same word and the same story. Over here from Sudan, you have the Mahdist country that was basically a Tawahid ISIS country that were saying that everyone that doesn't accept this guy, this Muhammad Ahmed, as a ruler, as a Mahdi, and I need to declare La ilaha illallah, there is no God beside God, and also that he is the Mahdi. Eventually, he had been killed. So basically, you had extremism in Somalia and in Sudan, where you have normal places. You had in Ethiopia, in Djibouti, it was basically France, and also in Somaliland. There was a French Somaliland back in the days. Then it became Somalia again. And then nowadays, after the genocide of the end of the 80s, of 1987, 88, and until the start of the 90s, and after that a Somali ethnic war also against them, when Ethiopia was very involved. What happened basically is that you had over here Ethiopia fighting over here in this place on the border of Somalia. All this territory from the very east of Ethiopia was with a war with Somalian tribes against Ethiopia. So basically, Ethiopia gave the shelter with this whole region, a safety zone for the Somalians to exist over here, above this territory which they fought for. Ethiopia was a Christian country with a Christian majority that wanted to stabilize east of Africa. That's why they decided also to help Israel together with Somaliland to fight against the Houthis, to fight against Al-Shabaab and Al-Qaeda. So basically Somaliland and Ethiopia are a land of sanity and against extremism, against this genocide and terror people that came from Somalia or from Sudan. I'm not including all the Somalians or all the Sudanian people, but I'm saying that basically extremism came from over there. So this is basically the story of Somaliland. It's similar to the idea of the Jews that they rise after the Holocaust. And it's very important to understand that when you live in a place in the Middle East, which basically you have one tribe that is ruling, there are less wars, there is more stability. Countries that are being ruled by one tribe are more stable, and over you have one tribe. From the west of them, you have the Isa tribe, which is basically Jesus. So basically, maybe they were Christians. Also in Ethiopia, do you have the Yatir tribe, I think, they called the in Hebrew Beit Beta, and they claim that they are a Jewish tribe from the lost tribes, but basically they are Muslim or Christian Ethiopians. So basically, the Somalilands from Israel tribe found unity with those people in Ethiopia, which they basically also suffered from extremism, and even Jews in Ethiopia. Even the Ethiopian government until the end of the 70s, their name was the dynasty of the House of Solomon. Why they were called the dynasty of the House of Solomon? Because basically they are claiming that they are tribes that are connected to the Jewish Solomon king that was ruling in the temple in Jerusalem. And that's totally crazy, because they know that they are Christians, but they know that the roots are Jewish. And those people from Somaliland wanted to get connected with those people, and those people from Ethiopia had a good relationship with the Jews, and they defended them, because they say we are also from the lost tribes. So basically Somaliland wanted to be against genocide, against extremism, to get connected to Christian Ethiopians, to Oromo chased people that they were chasing after them. The Oromo can be Muslim or Christians, but basically because of their ethnicity as a tribe, they were being chased. And also Christians in Ethiopia. So that's basically the story of Somaliland, story of people who wanted to change their mind and not be a part of radical Islam, and they wanted a good relationship. What is funny that Erdogan right now, if I can say a word about Turkey, he wanted basically to say, why you are in bad relationship with Somalia? This place is illegal, Somaliland. Who invented it? They are saying in the 12th century, we brought you into Islam, we educated you, we made you who you are. But actually they see that Turkey is going with radical Islam, going with ISIS, going with Al-Qaeda. They're claiming to go against ISIS, but they supported them in the civil war because they were afraid of them, so they were supporting them because of gas prices and other things. And then the Egyptians comes in a place that was being called Fontland over here. This place was called Fontland. You won't see it in the map because it's a more ancient map. But basically the ancient Egyptians were over there, over here in the very west of Somalia. That is basically east from, so it's east from Somaliland. And over here you had the Fonts. So basically also Egypt, with their hypocrisy, are against Somaliland, and basically Egypt is trying to be a secular state with a differentiation between country and state. They don't want the religion to rule the state, and they are not going against those extremism, so they are playing a double game. Also because they have a problem with Ethiopia, because they are stopping them the water flow. So basically that's the whole story of hypocrisy from states like Egypt and Turkey, and maybe jealousy, and a story people that said, okay, we don't care if you are Muslims or Christians or Jews, we want to live together with you because we are also had been genocide. Thank you very much everyone, and have a good night.